I want to talk to you guys a little bit about Alcatraz, Auschwitz, as I would call it. Donald Trump visiting this location earlier today in Florida. And I want Karoline the liar Leavitt to describe it for all of you, because are we going back to Nazi Germany? Is that what we are doing here? Because according to Karoline Leavitt, we're going to be locking up a bunch of innocent people, trying to support their families. And I guess that brings the Trump administration and many of his MAGA supporters joy and happiness. I mean, I don't know. Keep in mind, by the way, that most of these immigrants being abducted by ICE have literally no criminal record. Listen to Karoline Leavitt with a smile on her face talk about this.
On a scheduling note, tomorrow, President Trump will travel to the great state of Florida to attend the opening of a new illegal alien detention center located at Dade Collier Training and Transition Airport alongside Secretary Kristi Noem, Governor Ron DeSantis, Congressman Byron Donalds, and other state and local leaders. We hope to see many of you there. The facility is in the heart of the Everglades and will be informally known as Alligator Alcatraz. There is only one road leading in, and the only way out is a one-way flight. It is isolated and surrounded by dangerous wildlife and unforgiving terrain. The facility will have up to 5,000 beds to house, process, and deport criminal illegal aliens. This is an efficient and low-cost way to help carry out the largest mass deportation campaign in American history. We are truly coming off a historic week of President Trump racking up win after win on behalf of the American people.
Yeah, this is absolutely nauseating and sick to hear and look at Karoline Leavitt with that smile on her face. Many of the people that are going to be in this jail, I would imagine, and many, as I said, that are abducted by ICE, have no criminal history at all. These are families that are being separated, and they're gloating about this, and they're laughing about this. And then Peter Doocy, who I think is just an awful, awful reporter with Fox News, or Fox Noise as I call it, asked Donald Trump this question about these possible illegal immigrant escapes. Will they be eaten by the alligators? And Donald Trump thought it was all funny and kind of joked about it with Peter Doocy. Have a listen to this.
And with the alligator Alcatraz, it's the idea that if some illegal immigrants escape, they just get eaten by an alligator or a snake or something?
I guess that's the concept. This is not a nice business. I guess that's the concept. If snakes are fast, but alligators are big. We're going to teach them how to run away from an alligator, okay? If they escape prison, how to run away. Don't run in a straight line. Run like this. And you know what? Your chances go up about 1%, okay? Not a good thing.
Yeah, I want you guys to think about that for a moment. Donald Trump is just there joking around with Peter Doocy and saying that's the idea. If an immigrant decides to leave this prison, they will be eaten by alligators. Many of the people that are being abducted by ICE are nonviolent criminals. And by the way, I am not saying if you're a violent criminal, you deserve that to happen to you, let alone a non-violent criminal. This is despicable. It is disgusting. And it's a slap in the face to the American people and to human beings in general, that the fact that the President of the United States would laugh about something like this. He thinks it's funny. Meanwhile, go ahead and pardon and call them heroes, people that beat police officers on January 6th. But if you're a nonviolent criminal abducted by ICE, let him get eaten by alligators. That's what the President of the United States just said. But this is, again, another brilliant idea by the very intelligent Donald Trump, who now wants to, and I've talked about this, I spoke about it yesterday, wants to reopen Alcatraz. Now, before I play you Karoline the Liar Leavitt's response to that on the Sean Hannity Show, let me just give you a few facts on Alcatraz. First of all, if, and it's not going to happen, if they decided to reopen Alcatraz, it would cost the American taxpayer somewhere around the vicinity of $250 million. But you don't hear Elon Musk or Doge talking about this, do you? $250 million it would cost. Number two, it would hold under 400 inmates. Let me repeat, under 400 inmates. And it was Donald Trump yesterday that said, millions of people out there, we need to imprison them. under 400 people and would cost the American taxpayer over $250 million. There's no sewer system or water system there. It is a joke and it is embarrassing. But of course, it doesn't matter what Donald Trump says. Donald Trump could literally say that we all need to walk outside in a thong, men and women, and people in Donald Trump's administration, that might work for some people, by the way, but for many people in Donald Trump's administration, I'd say it probably would be a bad idea, but I'm just using this as an analogy. Karoline Leavitt would go on Sean Hannity's show and say it's a great idea. This is Karoline Leavitt on Sean Hannity's show last night talking about Donald Trump's just idiotic idea to reopen Alcatraz, and listen to what she had to say about it.
Great to see you, Sean. Thank you so much. And this is a phenomenal idea by President Trump that will be executed upon. In fact, I can confirm for you that the White House has already administered calls with the Bureau of Prisons, our counterparts at the Department of Justice, and our counterparts at the Department of Interior, because Alcatraz is now run by the National Park Service. And we know our great Secretary of Interior, Doug Burgum, is in charge of that. So the Bureau of Prisons has already confirmed that they are assessing next steps to reopen this notorious prison. And the reason for it is because President Trump is leaving no stone unturned to restore law and order to our country and to make it very clear to criminals, repeat offenders, not just illegal immigrant criminals, but also American citizens who have refused to comply with our nation's laws. If you have been repeatedly breaking the law, if you are in and out of prison, that is ending under this administration. President Trump's team is going to enforce our laws and prosecute you to the fullest extent of the law. So we are absolutely looking into this, assessing next steps, and it's a part of the president's big picture law and order agenda, which is obviously working, especially when you look at the illegal border crossings at our southern border. The border is secure, mass deportations are underway, and law and order is back in America thanks to President Trump.
It is? Law and order's back in America? Really? That's news to me. She's talking about Americans that break the law and rule of law, yet you guys are the ones that defy the Supreme Court rulings and defy judges and attack their families. The person that you support and work for is a 34-count felon who has never faced any repercussions for anything he's done in his life, let alone being prosecuted in an American court of law with a jury of his peers as a 34-count felon. And we have this imbecile trying to lecture us on rule of law. But she's not the only one that is a yes woman or yes man or whatever you want to call them, who wears the Donald Trump knee pads 24/7. And it doesn't matter what Donald Trump's ideas are. I mean, if he talks about the purge again, she would be okay with that as well. And I got to tell you, a big fundamental difference, one of many today between, MAGA Republicans and Democrats. Joe Biden, or we're talking about Barack Obama or Bill Clinton, when there were deportations, they weren't gloating about it. They didn't have Dr. Phil there with a microphone turning it into a reality show. Because, sometimes human beings have compassion. Obviously, Donald Trump has no compassion at all. But they held this presser yesterday with Ron DeSantis. As I would like to call it, a migrant concentration camp. And Donald Trump and Ron DeSantis are in front of these cages. And then Donald Trump makes a really weird statement, and there's more. But he's in front of these cages where I would imagine many of these migrants eventually will be, some of them with no criminal record at all, that have been separated from their families. And he says Biden wanted him to be in a cage. This is really weird. Listen to this.
Hey, Biden wanted me in here, okay? He wanted me. It didn't work out that way, but he wanted me in here.
Yeah, he calls Joe Biden a son of a bitch. By the way, there's no evidence to suggest that Joe Biden ever wanted Donald Trump in a cage. Listen, that would be a dream of mine, but it's just not going to happen. Joe Biden never tried to do that, so another blatant lie by Donald Trump. They're going to be putting these human beings in cages. And Ron DeSantis and Donald Trump have smiles on their face, and they're laughing about it, and they're gloating about it, treating human beings like dogs. And of course, Kristi Noem's right there too, laughing along with it. Is this the country that you want to live in? I understand that everybody wants to be in this country legally and do it the right way. I understand that. But there are a lot of good people in this country that might have not proper documentation, But does that mean they should be treated like animals? Does that mean they should be separated from their families with no due process or sent to an El Salvador prison, or in this case, sent to a concentration camp, as I would call it, for lack of a better word? Is that the kind of country that you want to live in? It's not the kind of country that I want to live in. I don't want to live in a country where agents are not identifying themselves and they're in front of Home Depot in the early morning hours, people that just want to put food on the table for their families. Or agents outside of a courtroom when you have these people that are trying to seek asylum and they're showing up in court trying to do it the right way and then they're handcuffed. That's not the country that I want to live in. And if that's the country that you want to live in, then chances are you probably don't want brown people here and you're a racist like so many others in the MAGA base. I don't want to see a country like that. If we're talking about violent criminals, that's a different subject. But Tom Homan and members of the Trump administration lied to us. They lied to us and they said that's where their focus would be on, because we know the overwhelming majority of people that are getting put in these vans and taken by ICE are nonviolent criminals. Actually, they have no criminal history at all. They're being abducted. They're not even being, these agents aren't even identifying themselves. It's a joke. How could you be okay with this? Is this the America that you want? It's not the America that I want. It's not the America that I grew up in. This country was founded on immigrants. But if it comes to white supremacy and it comes to the Proud Boys, Trump will tell them to stand back and stand by and call them hostages and patriots and pardon them. I wonder why that is. Maybe it has something to do with the color of their skin. Just maybe.